We've been live between Black Friday, a whole bunch of traveling, and I think being sick all around has been quite an
Yeah,
adventure this month.
yeah. There's something going around.
Yeah, that's for sure. But we're back and obviously becoming a little bit more regular as we kind of go back into the swing of everything. But wanted to go over a couple things. Definitely want to talk a little bit about Black Friday and the craziness that we saw, not only in some of the campaigns we supported, but actually our own campaign that we partnered up with somebody, and some of the things that we found. So what was crazy to find was that right off the gates, like a lot of the stuff that was happening with Black Friday was pricing. I think pricing was a really big
Yeah, that
lesson
was a
this time
huge
around
thing.
because it just like, we're in the middle of a lot of people launching my email box was like going bananas for like 5 straight days from all the big national, Best Buy and all them to everything else and Black Friday and then Cyber Monday. But even the courses, like launching the courses, a lot of people launch on Black Friday. We saw some decent success. But what I found that was a little bit odd, we saw a lot more of the population, instead of doing a pay in full, going directly to the payment options and the longer payment options, not like at the
I
3 or
even
the 6
saw it
or
on
the 12.
WordPress plugins. I even saw it on WordPress plugins. I get all the Divi stuff and all the WordPress stuff coming in, and I just got so inundated with the amount of emails. I'm still getting emails for Black Friday. Even though it's past Black Friday, I still get Black Friday emails and stuff like that.
Yeah, but what I thought was, but like I said, what I thought was really unique against this one is I think the pricing element of a lot of the things that I saw, even some of the national, nationwide, like people were doing like payment plans or offering different payment options, and I saw less discounts but more payment plans, which
Yeah.
shows that like the big producers are not that they're tight on cash, but obviously consumer spending is low. But then you also have the simple fact that people are just we're a little bit of a recession, interest rates are up, so things are kind of going around that. And actually, our partner Esther that we partnered up with had a great idea of just doing a longer payment plan, and we saw it even with our own course that we launched that it definitely saw about a 60% population that like bought the payment plan, which I thought was really unique to this particular launch.
Actually, I was just watching the news, and the payment plan is a good idea, but people have actually spent more this year than they have in the past 5 years. That's including the pandemic. So even before the pandemic, people have spent more this season than they have in years, even with everything going on in the economy. But when you do offer something like a payment, to your point, there is less discounts, but there are more payment plans, and people are spending more money, even though we're marching into something.
Yeah, no, and I thought it was wild. I just thought from a marketing standpoint and like from the build outs that we have, for anybody that's building out and you're kind of in the idea, why am I not selling as much? Payment plans might be a good option for you, a 2, a 3, or even a 4, even as high as a 12. Like we did a 12 and it worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was brilliant. Again, it wasn't our idea. Our partner also came up with it, and I thought it was really brilliant. But the whole point of the matter was that we just saw that kind of direction, which is a little bit new. We always saw payment plans. We just never saw that many people kind of jumping all over it, and which helped to kind of include the whole marketing aspect of that, and which I thought was pretty wild.
I think we should talk about what it is that we sold. What was the course? We worked with a partner named Esther, and she runs a very successful virtual assistant coaching program. And we partnered with her and did Tech VA in a day, which is an add-on to a program that she's already running very, very successfully. And we expected not to sell nearly as much as we did.
Yeah, but I think it really poses the question of like, why is it so important to the tech, right? So, and I kind of went over this like when we did a little bit of an intro to the class, right? You got to think about where we were 2 years ago to where we are now. We got accelerated into the tech world and into the online world over the last 2 years. You could have not operated as a business unless you were online in the last 2 years, because there was just nobody was going out and everything else. Now, granted, that has significantly changed, but it did accelerate a lot of companies that were just brick and mortar or just physical to go in there. All the big corporations went. Some of them to this day are still hybrid, where you're only going in half of the time into the office and half the time you're working from home.
Right.
I mean, when I was working in the corporate space, we took my whole entire team and made them all virtual in less than 3 days. So you're talking about people that were going into the office for years and made them virtual. So now with us establishing the Tech VA is we just are starting to see a rising need of somebody that can operate virtually. Whether you're a stay-at-home mom, you're getting, you no longer want to go into the office. There's now these demand in this position for these remote positions, which is just technical positions of like running websites, running in intersystems. Like you all know that we're big fans of Highlevel FG funnels. And you're absolutely right. Tech is hot right now. It is. It's like it's where everything's going, and it kind of, like I said, the last 2 years accelerate us to like a whole nother thing. So the whole point of Tech VA was enabling a lot of people out there to increase and help us out, even with our own personal work that we do, right? So we build a lot of systems, we build a lot of major systems, but one of the biggest things that we have is once we build the systems, and even when we teach the staff, we always get, well, can you just run it for us? And I'm like, well, we're the builders, we're not the runners, but we had to like solve for that need. And we partnered up with Esther. Again, it's brilliant, runs an incredible program. And we're teaching her VAs the skill sets needed to actually run a whole full tech operation, which is what's needed right now. And it's in high demand. I mean, if you go to any of the groups we're in, the whole big thing, I'm looking for a Tech VA.
I mean, I think the biggest deal is that there's all these systems, and a lot of people had to get online very, very quickly because of the way things have been going the past couple of years. And a lot of them have no idea how to do tech, or are just so confused that half the time things aren't working correctly. So if a person is trained in doing that, they're going to go a lot further, and they're going to bring that extra skill set to the table. And it's not absolutely the right things.
Well, but think about it. Think about even some of the clients we encountered. You're talking about people that never even had a website. Right. And all of a sudden, like the last 2 years, we had a great last 2 years. Yeah. I mean, we were always busy. There was never a time where because there were so many people like, well, I need a website. Well, I need a system to talk to my clients. Well, hey, I need emails going out to my clients. And then we would build these systems down. They would still be great. Now I got these systems, but I'm still confused on what to do and everything else. And the consistent support was really hard. Even as our agency grew, it was still hard to support that kind of level. So coming up with an idea to really fulfill this by using, by training people to become technical VAs, it was the right approach. And we could see there was definitely a demand for it. So we're knee deep in it now. We're launching it. We're pretty excited. We believe that they're going to come out of this program having the skill set that they need to really push and move this forward. With our goal being, imagine, you're running a full-time business, but then you have somebody solely focused on the technical piece of it, as far as the marketing space, your websites, your funnels, your emails, your text messages, your interactions, your pipelines, and just having somebody on a consistent place managing it. I mean, that's worth its weight in gold, because you don't know how much you're losing through all the leaks, right, Andy? I mean, right now I'm building this crazy massive bot that encompasses Instagram messages, Facebook Messenger, emails, phone calls, and we're bringing it all into a catch-all that is basically answering all those things. But it made me realize how many of our customers have like a Facebook Messenger they never check. How many of our customers have like Google My Business that they never check? And it's amazing to see that that's kind of where we're at right now. But I think creating these tech VAs is the way to go. And I hope to God people see that they're going to need one at some point in time.
Well, I think the biggest thing that people are dealing with is there's so many systems. There's so many things to learn. And it's very scary and it's very uncomfortable when you don't understand a lot of it. And then when you can have if a person can come in and do all those things for you, that tech VA technically can work with multiple clients and be able to be their support person for 4 or 5, 6 different clients every month of the year, because there's always a little thing. I mean, we have clients right now that we're dealing with. We need to update their WordPress plugins. We have clients that have a new form or a new idea. They have a new real estate idea where they want to release listings. Every day they're coming up with some new marketing idea, but then to implement that, to even remember all the little parts that have to be done. So that's why, as this industry grows, being a tech person, you'll never be without a job. A lot of people are always looking for a job or something to do that's going to be recession-proof. This is something, doing tech, learning this, it is like a trade back in the day. You always need a plumber. You always need a roofer. You always need a thing. You always need a dentist. A dentist doesn't really worry about the recession because people still got teeth no matter what. People now have tech, and a lot of that tech is going to break or needs to be updated or needs security scans or any number of one of these things. And the more and more a person can train themselves to do that, the better off they're going to be.
Yeah, well, actually, I think that's where it's going. I think you actually said it. I think that the next thing is, like, this is going to be the thing that everybody needs. Everybody's going to need some kind of like text, virtual assistant that can help out. But the other thing that you mentioned is, here's where it's beneficial for the client and also for the tech VA. So you got a stay-at-home mom that can only work at irregular hours, or a stay-at-home dad, right? And they can only work certain hours out of the day, and they can only dedicate like 3 or 4 or 5 hours, but they got to earn some kind of income. You can't afford a full-time person to be sitting in your office to do this. And sometimes you don't need it because your business is not that big. So here comes a fractional tech VA that can answer half of these things and like do this work and do it at a fractional point, right? So it only costs half the value. And at the same time, you're just pleasing both sides. They can work for 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week, 20 hours a week, whatever you need, and then shorten it. So it's a win-win situation for everybody on board. And like I said, I just really think it's a pretty smart idea and the way that it's going. And what I thought was, I really honestly think that you said a funny comment, but you're pretty on point. How long have you worked at home?
Oh God. So I remember I was born in a manger, first of all. No, I'm just kidding. I've been doing this a long time. 1998 is when I started doing a little bit of work from home, and then 2 months before September 11th. So that would make it July of 2001. I started working at my little rinky-dink apartment. I took over the kitchen, and I have been working at home since 2000, like full-time 2001. And I could not go back into it. I tried it. I tried it for 6 months. I was in a pit of hell. I cannot work in an office. I make more money working from home. I set my hours, which, because I like to work, is all the time. But that's a choice. You don't have to do that. But I mean, you're new, not new. I mean, you've been doing it for a bunch of years now, but you don't have as many years under your belt working from home. Could you go? You couldn't go back. You couldn't go back to the office now.
I don't know, man. I honestly could. You know what it is? Like, part of me, like being in the corporate space for 25 years, it became a little bit ingrained. It's kind of hard. Like, there are aspects. It's been, it's only been since March, so I'm still a newbie in like the full time, not having to work.
Working for corporate, you were working from home for 3 years.
For 3 years or so, right? But I mean, but you don't include that. Well, I do miss the office interaction. I mean, I did work for some great companies, so I can't, it wasn't miserable going to work. Like, I don't miss going to work.
I don't miss the commute. I don't miss, because I worked in Manhattan when I did work, and I would do a little bit. I don't miss the expensive lunches, which are even more expensive right now. There's nothing worse than getting on. We're gonna kind of tell you our location here. Getting on a New Jersey Transit train, and then it's snowing, and the train stops, and you're stuck on a train for 3 hours waiting to go to Manhattan. So
let me tell you. Well, funny story about that. I went through 168 books on Audible in 1 year. that was how bad it was. And I'm not talking about like small books. I'm talking like War and Peace kind of like insanity books. But it was like, that's how many books I went through. 168 books. I couldn't believe it. Like, I ran out of, like, I had to buy additional credits on Audible because that's how bad it was. But yeah, to your point, it was like 2 hours there, 2 hours back.
Yeah, that's so funny because you talk about commuting and listening to things on Audible. I haven't commuted in so long that when I was on the train, I had a Motorola flip phone. There was no Audible.
There is no Audible.
You had what's called a book, and everybody would read newspapers, and that's how long ago it's been since I commuted.
Wow, no, I mean, I was around for that era too, but my commute over the last like Well, obviously 3 years before this was a little rough because I had to go to like Long Island, and Long Island from New Jersey get anywhere from 3 hours to like 6 hours.
I mean,
It was like horrible. But the point of the matter is,
I
like,
think that's what's
kind of bring it
really,
all together is,
what the real point is that it makes a better work-life balance if you don't have to sit in a car or sit in a train, and you get to do these things so you can be there more for your family, do your work. But then if somebody needs you, like I have a sick member of the family, you can just be there for them immediately, and then get right back to work. Get them all set up and get right back to work, which I think is heavenly.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you did mention one other thing that I want to touch base on, just kind of bringing it back a little bit to the marketing and the tech, is the all-in-one systems and the battle of the systems. So crazy stuff happened this like Black Friday. I don't know if everybody knew, but ClickFunnels went down 2 weeks prior to that. Kajabi went down for like three days or 2 days. No, 2 days or something. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of system rockings back and forth, and so the battle of the systems continues on, and I think it's going to continue on. Like I said, our favorite right now, the all-in-one, is kind of where we're going. It's harder to manage multiple tech stacks than it is anything else, and we're trying to reduce the amount of things that we use in tech. One, for cost. Two, for the complications. Like, we just don't want to have like 17 different systems.
Right.
And every time we talk to a new client, they're usually on 7 or 8 systems. And sometimes what was really scary, they're using systems or not using systems, but still paying for like
years.
the monthly fee for years. And it was like, it's bananas. Like, and how do you, I guess I'm a little bit more like careful on my expenses of like what goes out. But it's kind of crazy in that aspect. Like, we're in a cost saving environment. Getting to an all-in-one system is definitely where you want to go. Now, if you're in the business, or you're in the marketing world, or if you're not even in the marketing world, helping your clients consolidate, or you yourself consolidating over to one particular system, or as less systems as possible, that's all you really need. Like I said, Highlevel is still our go-to, and we have different variations now. We have Pipeline Patriot with Ali. We got DARS doing the whole Cairo space, and it's amazing. We got FG Funnels, our home base of like where we do a lot of the coaching, and where we do a lot of that it's mostly for course creators and coaches. And we just have a lot of people now that are just really rocking it out and like doing incredibly well. And the system's continuously growing. There's been a bunch of updates. We're in it now. We're building this massive system out for a couple of our clients that want system upgrades and just trying to consolidate everything. But then it's the usage of the system. You got to be in there and you got to be using it. Because that's the big gap that we're noticing. We build these extravagant, beautiful systems that would probably rock out any business, make them tons of money or save them tons of money. And then they sit there and they're like,
but that's the whole thing. If you can take a client, and this is, for any tech person, the best, your value add to the customers by actually them hiring you, you can pay for yourself by reducing the amount that they're paying out every single month. So if they're spending, and it's not uncommon for people to be spending a couple grand a month on software alone, if you can consolidate that into one bill instead of a consolidated credit card, and from there, once you save them that money can go to you for the work that you do. So,
well, it's not even that. Well, think about it in reverse too. Not only are you saving the money, but at the end of the day, you fix a leaky source where the customer's not even responding. You now have the ability of making money because you probably connected with a lead that didn't even know what happened. You know what I'm saying? So, we've done that with clients just sometimes by connecting like Facebook Messenger to Highlevel, and all of a sudden, oh my God, I get all these messages I didn't even know. And I'm like, if that turns into a lead, that's additional cash flow there. So it's really just understanding, like, if you're in the online space, you got to make sure all your holes are plugged. Like every area, that way of the people communicating with you, there's an automatic response back. There's something going on where you're constantly responding to the client. Oh, and the one thing that I learned also on Black Friday, it's the speed to reply. The speed to reply, I swear to you, it's getting lower and lower every year. If the longer you take to respond to any lead, doesn't matter whether they're intent-based leads, whether they're Facebook interruption leads, and what I mean by that is like a Facebook ad interrupts you, right? You're doing whatever you're doing, you're scrolling through a feed. I love some of the Facebook ads that I got this year.
Yeah.
because they were really centered. I was looking. I don't even remember some kind of tech thing. I was looking for. I literally said Apple Watch, and I know I have the mics on and my phone or something picked it up, and I literally got all the apples. But what was great is we got like Apple Watches, and then I'm like, oh, it's time for me to do a fast again, and all of a sudden, prolonged fast came out. Like it was literally instant, but the ads were really good quality. And I mean, there was just really good quality.
Right.
So I liked seeing that. I mean, as a marketer, I don't mind ads because I like to see what the people are coming up with.
I don't like I don't like bad ads. If they're good ads, I like them. But when I get
Yeah, and I'm a sucker. You know me, I'll buy anything. I'll buy
so many
anything.
ads without a call to act. I saw so many ads without a call to action this season. Oh my god!
A lot of brand ads. I saw that
What?
too, which was like, and actually one I was trying to click on. It was for a little robot for my son, and I was trying to click on it, and there was no like learn more button, and I was like, all right, where's the
The call to action?
And on Facebook ad, there's usually a button. I mean, maybe I missed it, but it was pretty interesting. But the point of it is the speed to answer and how fast you get back to this customer really does matter. A friend of ours that we know that is running a call center, and he is thriving right now because he's providing that exact service where, a lead immediately responds to the ad. They're literally their phone's ringing the second they hit respond. And I mean that's kind of where they're at right now because everything else people are getting a little numb to. I mean, the text message is still good. I feel that, Twilio just rolled out a whole bunch of registration requirements. So any client that is on Twilio needs to register or else it starts really filtering out to spam and everything else. And the inbox just doesn't do what it used to do. So that became like a really important stuff inside there. That in itself, but like the immediate response back, that's why having leaky like areas where things are just slipping through the cracks and you're missing out on leads is not going to benefit anybody at this point in time.
Well, I mean, the whole thing is when you do your automations, right? This goes all the way back to the tech is you're going to make more money. You're going to help people make more money by plugging all those holes and making sure everything is taken care of, just like you said. So any ad that comes around where I see people being able to save people money by doing a service with software, that's something that really attracts my eye. And I know that it's been very busy for a lot of people. And we've been hearing that from industry friends and so forth.
Absolutely. And like I said, so 3 big takeaways for everybody on this call today is one, payment plans, good option to go with right now, especially if you're launching through this holiday season of where people are financially. That was the number one lesson. 2, if you're struggling with the tech and you want to run this beautiful system you created or you're being part of and you're noticing that things are falling through the crack, a fractional meaning only part-time, 5 hours, 10 hours a week, VA will probably do you a massive amount of justice. So definitely check out our Tech VA. We should have some great graduates graduating out of the program. Yeah,
these women, a lot of women, very brilliant. Very
brilliant, very excited. And we'll have a slew of people that will be readily available that you can hire at a fractional way. So they're not there all the time, but they're there just for as much as you need. And they'll be familiar with most of the systems. And once you figure out the tech we're in, you kind of figure out all the rest of the tech. And we're also teaching them the skill sets of where to find the answers and so forth. And then the third thing is the speed to answer and just fixing the leaky, lead coming in and answering a repetition of all that. Those are the 3 things. Like if you're going to walk away and really focus on your marketing and your tech, those are the 3 things that I would probably focus in on, especially as we round up in the coming year. And like Andy said, I think it was a really good comment. I think the new plumber, the new electrician, the new person is going to be the technical person that lives inside, maybe even in your house if you really think about it. Like how many technical things are in your house? Like lights, like automations, and all this other stuff. So I mean, the tech person is going to be, I think, the new plumber in the next.
Will never go away. We're a part of everything now. Everything is tech and everything is us. So we'll always be busy. No matter
so I thought that was pretty cool that it is definitely the world in general is thrusting in that direction at an unparalleled pace at this point. And I think if you're not in that mix, so if you're a business owner and you're not online, you're really missing out. And if you are a business person and you are online and you have these things, and they're kind of all right.
I had a conversation with an old client who I was trying to talk them into changing their stuff because, quite frankly, they haven't changed their website in 12 years. I built it for them, I know. And I've been talking to them for a long time. Insurance company, I showed it to you. They said to me, and I couldn't believe they said this to me. They said to me, well, I don't get that much business from my website. I just build it so I have it there. I'm like, because you're not marketing with it. We put it up 12 years ago and you haven't done diddly squat. So basically it's
wow, hold on. You went to be a little quick. It's a billboard in the wilderness.
It's a billboard in the wilderness.
The billboard in the wilderness. I know that's like your favorite saying, but
Right.
it's true. It's true. I mean, like, you don't put a little SEO to it. You don't run a little bit of ads to it. You don't put some tracking to see whether or not people are even falling off. You're just not going to know. But aside from that fact, I think that the phrase to go is, I think a technical virtual assistant or a technical, concierge, a technical like person to have on your team is literally going to be the new electrician / plumber / accountant in the near future. If we're not already there now, and I think we're in that corner where we're knocking at that door at this point.
You want to be that person. You want to be that one person says to another person who's like, "Oh, I got a guy, or I got a girl, or a person. I got a person. I know somebody who can help you." You want to be that person. Well, that's a good domain name.
You want to be that person.
got a tech guy.
But with that being said, we'll conclude it for today. We'll be back on. We are going to have some new videos posted. As far as some, I'm just waiting to get my voice back. As you can see, I'm still a little bit under the weather.
You sound lovely.
I don't feel lovely, but this flu, like it's like one consistent flu. With 3 kids, I think you have a flu for the whole time.
Oh my God. When your kids do move out, all of a sudden you're going to be like, I have sinuses. Holy mackerel.
You start breathing all over again. Love them, but they're little contagious little characters. So be on the lookout for our YouTube video. And like I said, and definitely be on the lookout. We'll be talking about Tech VA in a day and about some great candidates that'll be coming out soon into the market. And scoop one up if you're one of those businesses that is kind of struggling and just maintaining your stuff. Well, with that being said, thank you guys. Everybody, just in case we don't go live before the holiday season, have a wonderful holiday season for anybody who celebrates. And we'll talk to you in the next go round.